Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. I am so delighted to bring on Jeilene Tracey today. I've been looking forward to having her on for quite a while, and I just haven't reached out. And thank you, Lori, for connecting us up. So welcome, Jeilene. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Shane. It's great to be here.
No problem. So I saw you on Awakening Power TV a few times, and I really enjoyed you on there. And I thought, and it's a perfect time to get you on here to discuss a little bit about what you do and everything. So if we can, I guess you can give a background as brief as you want, sort of let
Okay,
people know where you're
sure.
coming from.
Yeah, so I practice a modality called Vibrational Genetics, and that's something that coalesced out of years of different study in biological sciences, and then combining that with a lot of a metaphysical journey that I started, I don't know, about a decade ago. And I started that journey sort of by mistake. I didn't actually intend to start that journey, but as I started it, I realized that, oh yeah, absolutely, this is where I should be. And not only that, but it's helping me in so many ways that I hadn't even realized I was not addressing in my life. Like I'd shut down a lot of my emotions, and the way I was moving through life was in this sort of superficial, on the surface. And so it just reawakened and opened up all of that connection I'd had as a child, when I spent a lot of time outside and in nature. And so I studied all these different modalities. And while studying one of those modalities, I started connecting to different groups of beings, but one in particular, the mantis, who I work with most closely. They really feel like family to me. And it made sense that I had been spending a lot of my time and interest in studying DNA and genomics, which is what I'd done in my third dimensional training as a scientist. And my interest had always been in that molecular area, in the small. And it made sense because the mantis are genetic masters, really. And that's why I think that they've been involved in some of the off-planet human cloning projects, but the ones I work with are here in the earth, and they're very benevolent and really are here to support earth, because we're energetic beings having a human experience. And so everything is related to an experience or an emotion or something that's in your field that is lingering there, waiting to be released. And there's always a story behind everything physical. And so it's just so much fun to dive into people's energy fields and get to know the landscape and see what's there and what's ready to shift. And so that's what I do now, and I love to do it. I love my work. It's really fun.
It's amazing. I found the same thing. It's like my 3D stuff sort of aligned me to do what I sort of accidentally stumbled upon doing here with video production and music and art and all of this stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of funny how it seems like you're sort of just bumping your way through life, doing what you think you ought to do on a 3D perspective. But then you open up to this greater plan, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got here totally accidentally, but it wasn't really an accident. It was really like your life plan that you were always on that road, but you didn't even really realize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then you start to put together all these little pieces that came along during the way. You start to see connections, and oh, right, when I was a kid, that happened to me. And, when I was a teenager, that happened. And then you start to see that, oh, I'm the latecomer to understanding. Oh,
Exactly.
thanks for cluing me in the whole time that, this has been happening. And finally, I get it. You feel a little bit you know, like the last one to know.
Right. One of the funniest ones for me was discovering a book that I loved before I even, it was preschool age, and it was called Milton the Early Riser, and it was about this panda that, you know, I'm mixed black and white, you know, but that this little black and white panda is like up early before everybody. He's like trying to wake everybody up and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been here the whole time. Even before I ever went to school, my life
That's
plan
right.
and
That's
purpose
right.
was right here showing me, even as a child, you know. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying about being sort of a latecomer to realizing that, you know, this has been the plan all along. So I love what you do with your voice and the vibrational genetics. And Lori even had a
Thank you.
healing. I've heard other people getting healings from it, and I can totally feel it when I tune into it. And
Mhm.
even the one you did where everybody sort of joined in with you, wow, it became so powerful. And I was like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, and I got
yeah.
chills. And even joining in along with everyone with my headphones on, it seemed like it amplified it. So it's a very powerful modality. So I'm so glad to
Yeah.
introduce it to everyone today.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's been such a journey, and because I don't have a background in singing or in toning. I didn't go to sound school, but the mantis kept I would hear the tones and they kept encouraging me to do